At Juliant, we're with you at every milestone, making it easier for you to shine. So you can saddle up each morning for more than a paycheck. Have the support to expand your horizon, the space to grow your family, and your brightest dreams never have to fade. At Juliant, we help you shine. That's brighter banking. Juliant Federal Credit Union.
Welcome to the Greater Conversations podcast. I'm Deetra Miller, the Director of Member Relations and Engagement at Greater Winston-Salem, Inc. We'll use this platform to showcase our local businesses, our community, and their stories. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I am super excited today to introduce you to Denette Bailey. Denette Bailey is the owner and director of Bailey Preschool here in Winston-Salem. Now, if you haven't heard of Bailey Preschool, you're missing out, simply because Bailey Preschool was selected as one of the best preschools in the Winston-Salem area by Kid-Friendly Triad. She's also been featured in Triad Moms on Main whenever Bailey Preschool expanded recently, so I can't wait for her to tell us about that. But Denette, her background is so incredibly awesome. She has a bachelor's degree, 2 master's degrees, multiple certifications, including nutrition, youth fitness, mindfulness, meditation, CPR, first aid, and the list goes on. This is the type of person that you want to make sure is teaching your child in that preschool experience. And we're going to talk about her private preschool and how she creates a safe and nurturing environment for little ones to learn, grow, and explore, and how the curriculum is tailored to each individual child and includes a mix of structured and unstructured activities. Denette, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. And I love what Tim said earlier for the audience that's listening. Denette, she says that she's close to the kids. What did you say about that?
She is fun size.
She is fun size.
Yes.
She is fun size.
Yes.
So you're about 5 foot. So you're 5 foot tall. So you're close to the size of the little ones, right?
Yes,
Not intimidating. Absolutely.
Whereas if
that.
I walked in there, they'd be like,
Yes. They have to look up too far. So.
They would be like Santa.
oh, they would.
Yeah, it would be great. It would be great. But let's dive in. Let's talk a little bit about you, your background, and why you wanted to start Bailey Preschool.
Certainly. So again, I am Denette Bailey, and Bailey Preschool is located on Polo Road, 1300 Polo Road, 1 block from Wake Forest University. So
Lovely.
That's helpful usually for people to know. I grew up in New Jersey, but I had the opportunity myself as a youngster to attend both public and private schools. So I got some diversity there, which I think has helped me offer the diversity as a preschool teacher myself.
Yes.
But I actually started out, this is a long story that I'm going to make short for you. Because I started this preschool because when I was a preschooler myself, I attended a preschool that was, I'm going to use a word, awful.
Oh.
It was a very bad experience for me. Just the food was a big issue. Like the teachers, they really wanted you to eat all your food, and it was traumatizing. So as a preschooler, literally, I remember sitting at the table saying, when I get older, I'm going to have my own school.
Aww.
And so I think that's a testament to something being really, really bad or going really, really wrong, or the word, no, turning out to benefit me and then to benefit the other children. So I'm not upset about it now, but it was traumatizing back then.
Wow.
So my point is that I wanted to do this since I was a preschooler myself, but I actually got started in it because I lived on a United States Air Force military base, and I had put out some signs on the base saying that I would babysit, and the military said, "Oh no, you won't.
Wow.
We don't do that. You have to be licensed to take care of children on our base." And that's how it started, with me getting licensed on the military base, the United States military base, and it was the best education, the best experience to be licensed through the military first.
Really?
For being a provider.
Why?
Yeah. Well, they don't play. You don't get to negotiate with the military, the government. They tell you what the rules are, and you follow them, or you can't be here. Okay. And I would say I'm a rule follower anyway, so it wasn't difficult. But I really appreciated the organization and the preparation that the military offered in terms of their licensing program. So I think it was a great first. And then moving here in North Carolina, making that decision, okay, I'm going to do this here now with the civilians. And so that's how it started. It started first that preschool thought and then the military. And I thought I was going to college to be a principal because, want to be something as a preschooler. Everyone asks their preschoolers what they want to be, and they want to be a variety of Supermans. But eventually it comes back, and so I'm thankful for that.
I wanted to be a trash man.
Did you
wanted to be a trash man?
My first endeavor was I wanted to be because there was a guy that would come up and he would carry the trash can over his back and pick our stuff up and then carry it back down the hill. And I'm like, I want to do that.
Wow.
And then, as a young adult, I drove a dump truck for my family and had to take stuff to the dump. And I decided I did not ever want to think about being a trash man ever again.
Yikes.
But what was happening when you were younger as a preschool is the idea of helping. Do you know what I mean? Of you saw the investment that person was doing and taking out your trash, and the exercise of this is how he does it. You were in the zone.
My mom says that I would carry a trash can. I had a taller kitchen trash can that I would carry on my back around
how cute.
Yes.
with gloves and everything.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's so sweet.
And very meaningful. I could do a whole paper on that. So
Yes. Exposing young people to various career opportunities like that and seeing the impact and later in life knowing that's not exactly what you want to do, but the exposure
we
is
choose our paths
unreal.
differently on our experiences.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
So you were saying in regard to what your experience was there, talk a little bit more about that.
Well, I just think there are a lot of parents that, for whatever reasons, they may have suffered some trauma themselves. They had a bad experience with, like I had when they were young, or they had a bad experience with their current children. And so it's so difficult, that having that trust factor there. And I think I was very blessed to have had that experience and turned it for my good, and like I said, and eventually for the good of others by making a decision that I want to do this better. As opposed to just holding that anger or being in a situation where, I'm never going to have my kids with anyone, like just figuring out how I can make that better. And I'm really thankful to that preschooler in me that thought that was the first thought, that I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it better. I'm really thankful.
There's a difference between having that idea and that dream and actually putting it into practice.
Yes.
So you mentioned the military, and they don't play. They have rules and regulations, just like the state and the county and the city. Talk about some of the hurdles that you've had to endure.
Well, I would say first, I want to say that in Winston-Salem, I am very thankful. Again, for the most part, I would say it was a great experience starting the center. Again, I've started out as a family child care provider and then moved to this center. And I would say for the most part, it was a good experience, and my experience with different city officials and having to get that done. There was one department who was not so kind. But the fact that there was only one, and most of all, the fact that everyone else was cognizant of this person and was helpful, and so they would return my calls immediately. They were very kind, very respectful, very courteous. Amy, in particular, with the city, always asking, what do you need? How can we help? And I think that's very helpful because I've been in this business a long time, to the point now where I don't say how long. I've been in this business a long time, and you see a lot. And for one, as a business person, you may get comfortable in your business where you are. You may say, this is, I like what's going on, and I hear all the problems people have. Maybe I just want to stay right here. Or something happens in your business where it just you start. It's difficult. There's lots of drama. There's lots of what have you, and you maybe get discouraged and decide, I don't want to do that. I'm thankful to my husband because he kept saying, keep going, when I would feel that myself, quite honestly. But the ability to have a support, like I said, my husband was my big support, but also the people that are in charge of saying yes and saying no.
Yes.
I'm a spiritual person, and I like to believe that all of this happened because it was supposed to happen. Not just for me, not just because I've always wanted to do it, and I try my best to do it exceedingly well, but also because I feel like there are lots of children out there that need a person like me. And they need other people like me. And so if I am not in the business, how can I encourage other people to do it the best as well? So I just feel like my ability to do this job exceedingly well and to encourage other people to do the job exceedingly well, to encourage parents that, there are great places out there. And, you can pray, and you can also look for information that tells you that these people exist, and your child can have a great place. Your child does not have to have the experience that I had where you're like, I hate this place.
Absolutely.
I want my students to be 30 years old, 40 years old. I want them to be looking for me. I want them to be like, there was a preschool I went to. What was it? And is she still in business? I want them to just love it that much that when they have children, they're hoping that I'm still in business.
I love that. And I've visited Bailey Preschool a couple of times, and it's amazing. It's beautiful. It's colorful. The children are so happy. I love the fact that you have bilingual students as well,
yes, ma'am.
Which is pretty amazing.
Yes, ma'am.
Talk a little bit about the curriculum.
So I have been in this business a long time, and as a result, the state has different curriculums that are approved, and so I use the creative curriculum. However, I also taught kindergarten for a short bit, and I learned that while the curriculum, any curriculum is extremely important, we also have to use our knowledge. I won't say common sense, because a lot of people are using common sense, and it's not enough. We have to use our knowledge of what's happening in the school system to actually prepare our children for kindergarten. And so the curriculum is great, and it's a great guide, but we also have to collaborate with educators in the system so that we can know, okay, what is the expectation that you guys have for the students?
Yes.
And what do I need to make sure they know before they get there? And then these teachers getting other training. How do I effectively teach that so that it's fun? Because that's my big thing. It has to be fun. The research tells us that children learn and they retain the information when it's fun. We as adults retain information when it's fun. So I want to make the curriculum fun, but I want to make sure that the curriculum is preparing the children for kindergarten. So I have to collaborate with kindergarten teachers. I have to know what's going on in the school system so that we're not just singing songs.
Right.
And that's fun, but we're singing songs that are meaningful. And I tell people we can't just sing the ABC song. Really, that would be more for our infants and our toddlers. We have to sing songs that pertain to the child at the time. So a song about their name and the letters of their name. So, we might sing a song that talks about the beginning sounds of each person's name and go down the list. I won't sing here for you today, but and go down the list for each child, the beginning sounds of their names. Now we're making the letters relevant to them and the sounds relevant to them so that they remember it because it was their name and their name is special to them. So it's more than the alphabet.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? It's making the letters of the alphabet specific to you and important to you so that you remember them, because you remember the things that you care about. As adults, we remember the things that we care about, and the children are the same way. They remember the things that they care about.
Well, going beyond the alphabet, during one of my visits, one of your preschoolers was actually reading.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do teach them to read. I think it's important that they are able to read before they get to kindergarten. And people listening, I'm sure there are going to be some educators out there and some old school, I'm putting that in quotes, educators out there who would say or debate whether that is developmentally appropriate for my 3 and 4-year-old children to be reading. And I would just say that the idea that they could not just doesn't make any sense. Children can speak 2 languages. They can have full-on conversations. There's no reason why they cannot learn to read. I'm all about making that developmentally appropriate for each individual child. So all of my children, they will be on different levels. Everybody's not reading at the same level. Some children may be reading on an A level. Some children are reading on a C level. I've had children leave me and they're already reading on first grade level.
Wow.
But they can do it and they want to do it. It's fun to do it. They care, about their environment. So it's all the environment that you have set up. If they care about, for example, being able to make a list of what they want you to bring them from the grocery store, they do care about that. We all have had our children that say, "Mommy, bring me back, chips, bring me back whatever." They can write that down. They can read that list because they care about it. So, yes, I do teach my children how to read, and they read, if they're with me 2 years, they are reading when they go to kindergarten.
I love that. What do you recommend for the listening audience in regard to when their child should start preschool?
So I love the idea of parents being able to stay home with their infants. I do love that idea, not for anyone that specializes in infant care. If you need that, then you need the best infant care. I think that once a child turns 2 years old, they should be socializing with other children. And so, again, that doesn't have to be a full, 8 to 5 setting, but some hours, some days per week, once a child turns 2 years old, they should be in a setting. And then by the time they are 3 years old, some type of full day setting, some 8 to 3 situation should be going on there. And I know lots of people say, I can do this myself, or I would like my children to be home with me. But you have to understand what happens in kindergarten. And if you do plan to send your child to kindergarten, whether it be a public school or a private school, you want your child to be able to thrive in that environment. You want them to have some independent skills where they don't need someone helping them all the time, because you may not get that teacher that likes to help zip up jackets and tie shoes or wipe noses. So they need to have those independent skills. They need to have a high self-esteem that if someone doesn't want to be their friend, they know how to move on from that situation.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
The social and emotional aspects are extremely important when you get to the kindergarten environment. It's not, the kindergarten teacher is not holding your child's hand and walking them through these things. So you want that practice in a safe early childhood program where the teacher cares and making sure that those lessons happen kindly, but that they are getting those lessons. And so at 3 years old, that ability to get that. Also, many parents know this. They'll say, my child always acts different when they're with their auntie or when they're with, because children act different depending on who they're with. And so for as a parent, I want to be confident that when I send my child to kindergarten, that they're going to be able to handle that, and that they're going to be even able to communicate with me when they return home, their likes and dislikes. So if they've had that preschool and experience, then they've had the practice communicating. We've had the practice when we pick up, how was your day today, and what type of activities did you do? We've had that practice. We've had the practice of them communicating something that they were uncomfortable with, so that when they get to kindergarten, they can communicate that with you. We've had the practice of them bringing home some type of activity to do, and then us having to practice that activity at home before kindergarten happens, so that we know, oh, my child has a trouble with the pen, or my child had trouble understanding when the teacher gave the directions. Just all these little idiosyncrasies that happen in the preschool environment and time that you won't get if your child only has just you that entire time. Like I said, I'm not saying that a parent can't share that time, but that even that collaboration of, because that's what I consider that what I'm doing with parents, I'm collaborating with them. So that collaboration between the conversations that I have with parents about what's happening as a parent is just going to make you more confident when you speak to the kindergarten teacher. You know, when they move on. We've had these conversations before. You've had some, as a parent, you've had some practice asking the teachers some questions and getting the teacher's perspective and hearing a perspective that you didn't hear or you didn't know because your child doesn't do that at home.
Exactly. Yes. Wow. This is amazing. I could talk to you forever about this, but I want to just ask you one more question, and then we'll wrap up. Is there anything coming up for Bailey Preschool that you would like to share with everyone listening?
Definitely. So I would say, actually, there are 3 things I want people to know. Well, number one, our playground. Like, we're really trying to work on our playground, as when we were family childcare, there are different rules from the state on what you can have. So we have to have commercial equipment now. So we are bare. And while we have like hula hoops and, balls and such, we just want our outdoor, I refer to it as the outdoor classroom, to be as magnificent as the indoor classroom. We want our opportunities that are offered to the children outside to be great learning experiences and, beautiful aesthetically. So we are working on a fundraiser for that. Awesome. And hoping that people will participate. We are, I'm actually doing a how-to vision board class that it will be free, and that's to the community. I always like to give back something. I feel like if I receive, I should be giving back. So that's my give back, is a vision board how-to, just teaching people how to do a vision board, how to make one and how to use one, especially for their business, maybe if they have a business, and just getting some insights on how I use the vision board for my business. So that's something, again, that's free. And then the last thing is we are also starting our own podcast so that parents can just listen in and find out about issues or anything that would be concerning to you as a family or an early child care provider, some ideas that I do that you could replicate in your own classroom. So that's what's coming up.
That's wonderful. Now, for everyone listening that wants to keep up with everything that's coming up, how do they do that?
Okay, so you can find me on Facebook and YouTube at Denette Bailey. I have a YouTube channel, and you can find out lots of great stuff about us or mimic what I do from there. And I am, did I say Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at Denette Bailey, Bailey Preschool on Facebook. And just if you look up Bailey Preschool or Denette Bailey on any of those.
Perfect. And your website address is baileypreschool.com. Perfect. Danette, was there anything that we didn't talk about today that you'd like to share with everyone listening?
Listen, there's lots that we didn't talk about that we cannot share today. But
we'll
check out my YouTube channel. There's lots. Yes, I'd love to come back.
Perfect. Yes, and please check out her YouTube channel, Instagram, and Facebook, and go to baileypreschool.com to learn more, or even sign your child up for preschool if you've been looking for a preschool in the Winston-Salem, Forsyth County area.
Definitely.
Danette, thank you so much for being here today. Congratulations on everything that is going on, and I can't wait to have you back.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And for everyone listening, until next time. We know you enjoyed this podcast today. So join us for the next episode of Greater Conversations. By the way, you can follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Be sure to smash that subscribe button. Also, be sure to visit our website at winstonsalem.com. The views and opinions stated in this podcast are solely those of the contributors and not necessarily those of our sponsors, distributors, or hosting companies. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced without expressed written consent of Greater Winston-Salem, Inc. or your toast.